Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Built for More. Today we're going to talk about what to do in your first 30 days when you get started. We spent the first 3 episodes talking about getting started, taking that first step, shifting your mindset, silencing the inner critic, and now we want to really give some practical, tactical advice on how to get started. So looking at that now, so why do you think people, when they get started, they tend to fail in that first 30 days?
Because they really don't know what to do. And I think that a lot of what's out there, I mean, there's a lot of good advice obviously out there, but there's a lot that, is maybe above their head, it's more advanced. And you don't realize that until you get in there and start doing it. And once you realize that it's a lot more challenging, it's easy then for that to drop off. And then you need a very simple plan, but you do need the plan so that you can kind of keep track of what you're doing.
Yeah, most people tend to wing it. So I think having a plan in place and really, this first 30 days is really about becoming that person who doesn't quit, right? Creating that identity. And so I really think there are 3 rules you should follow in this first 30 days, right? And the first one is just show up. Right? Just show up, don't perform, just do the work. You got to take that step of actually showing up, whether it's at the gym, starting a new routine at home, but it's just show up. The next one would be, like you said, keep it simple, keep it boring, right? Don't make it complicated. So why do you think that? Because I think that's an important point. So why do you think that should be a rule of the first 3 days, to keep it simple and keep it boring?
Because it's going to be something that's going to be easier to follow. When you don't have to put so much thought into the program or into the exercises, you're a lot more inclined to then, like you said, for number 1, to show up. You're a lot more inclined to then keep it consistent and to do it, even on the days that you maybe don't feel like it. If you overcomplicate it, it's going to be a lot harder then to keep that consistency.
Yeah, and I think the last rule would be, like, don't change everything all at once. Like that is the common thing with New Year's resolutions, right? You start the year, you say, hey, I'm going to get fit this year. I'm going to change my diet, change my sleep, change my exercises, change my workout routine, my workout gear. Just start with one thing and stack the habits. Like, I'm a firm believer in habit stacking. Just do one thing for a little bit of time and then add the next thing. So those are really the 3 rules to follow in your first 30 days are truly that. Just show up, keep it boring, and don't change everything all at once. Now let's talk about some actual practical tips of what to do in those first 30 days. So what would be some non-negotiables for you in that first 30 days if you're trying to really make a change?
Well, I actually can speak to this, and I can speak to it a lot more recently. Probably in like the last year, I started realizing I'm more of a, if I'm going to do cardio, I want to do it in the afternoon whenever I'm more awake. Well, I started finding with this job, it was getting harder to do that. Either there'd be events after work that I'd have to attend.
Terrible boss.
That'll be another episode, and we'll talk about that.
Sure.
So I was realizing that that was unrealistic. So the only time for me to do it, which I'm not the best morning person, was going to have to be in the morning. So what I did is I started 20 minutes walking on the treadmill. Pretty quickly I then increased it to 30, but I stayed at 30 minutes for months and months. And then probably since this calendar year, I upped it then to 45 minutes that I'll walk on the treadmill. And another thing, I also do keep it, like the pace and the incline, I keep it low because I realize it's early in the morning and I don't have as much energy like I do in the afternoon. So
the non-negotiable for you is moving, is doing that movement, like whatever it is. And I think that's a great one because that's the first step, right? Just move for 30 minutes every day, whether it's walking, whether it's some sort of exercise, going to the gym, but moving. My next one would be, like, look at your diet. And don't change everything. Maybe eliminate one thing is not good for you. So if you're someone that eats that snacks at night, eats salty food or sweet food, eliminate that. Like, start lowering your calories. Like, I'm not trying to give nutrition advice, but it's really about looking at what you're putting in your body and asking yourself, do these things all make sense for the goal I want to achieve? And if it doesn't, start eliminating it. Just do one thing at a time. Like, don't try and go from eating like crap to eating a super clean chicken, rice, broccoli, and egg whites every day because you'll want to jump off a bridge. Instead, say, okay, I like these junk foods, let me eliminate one this week and see what happens. And you probably won't miss it after a while. So that would be my next non-negotiable. What would be one other non-negotiable of yours?
Well, one that speaks to me directly is sleep.
Okay.
Over the years, I mean, really ever since I was young, I've always needed my sleep. I've always been able to sleep. Thank the Lord for that, really. But I do think the sleep is important, and to kind of wind down maybe at an earlier time if that's possible, and at least allow yourself that time to kind of move, more naturally into kind of like a routine of the quiet, and then getting into bed and going to sleep. And I do think that the more consistent that you get, the more consistent hours that you get every night, that is going to help over time with your stamina and with your energy the next day.
Yeah, so I agree that I'm a terrible sleeper. I've learned to adjust my body to what I'm used to sleeping. But my last non-negotiable would be this: just hydrating, like making sure, like I never realized the importance of hydration. Like I always drank water or drank like Diet Pepsi during the day or Diet Coke, and I always thought I was hydrating. Once I got in the habit of drinking a gallon of water every day, I feel more mentally focused, I feel hydrated, my body feels better. I'm not saying drink a gallon of water, but just start hydrating yourself, drinking more water, making sure you're drinking enough so you don't feel sluggish or tired. So those are, I think, 4 good non-negotiables for, it's make sure you're moving for at least 30 minutes, looking at your diet and start eliminating the crappy stuff, and getting, figuring out a good sleep routine, and then hydrating yourself. So now let's kind of wrap this up with looking at, okay, we have a 30-day plan, or we have a 30-day period. Let's break it up into 4 weeks. So first week, I would say your goal should be just to show up. Show up every day. Like that's what you should do, because I think that is something that's the first hurdle to get past, and most people just don't show up. So if they're doing that, so then I would move into week 2, would be tracking it. Write down what you're doing, write down what you're eating, so you can kind of see what you're doing. Do you believe in doing stuff like that? Do you think that's helpful when someone actually tracks the things they do? Like, you're big with budgets and spreadsheets and stuff, so is that something you think, from a fitness perspective, that would be helpful to someone?
Absolutely, if you're just getting started. I mean, that was something I know back years ago. Every time I walked into the gym, I always had a plan. Like, I had my program written down. Okay. Now, over the years and, just the way things have changed, which I've discussed on the past episodes, I kind of now wing it a little bit more, and I have more experience with it, so I know what to do and what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. But for those of you who are just getting started, absolutely the tracking it, because then that's the only way to really even make any changes and to see how it's even working out.
Yeah. So like week 1, show up. Week 2, track it. Week 3, start pushing the tempo a little bit. Say, can I increase what I've done? Can I add more steps? Can I add more weight? Can I eliminate something else from my diet? And then week 4, spend that last week auditing, looking back on the past month. This is, I think, the one thing people don't do enough of in life in general, or anything, auditing things, like what's working, what's not working. Because just because we say to do something doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. You've got to look back and say, okay, I spent 4 weeks doing this stuff. What worked, what didn't work, and then why did it work and why didn't it work? That'll be a great, a great wealth of knowledge about yourself to figure out like what you can do moving forward to kind of create new habits.
Right, because there will be things that you do that you probably don't really like, but if you alter it or you change it, you might actually enjoy the alteration of it. Do you understand? Can you help define this for me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
kind of my translator.
Yeah, let me translate that.
Yes.
So I think what you're trying to say is like, you may go into something thinking you have to do it this way, but then looking backwards, well, there's a different way of doing it that's more conducive to the way you operate.
Right, like a variation of it. So instead of cutting the whole thing out, once you kind of look back at the audit, you might realize that, if I try it this way, this was the part of it. Like, and I hate to go back to always talking about the treadmill, but that just seems to be the easiest. I mean, just for myself, like I kind of want the incline to be lower. When I push it and I put it up too high, it's like I'm taxing myself too much, and that would be something that would cause me to like not really want to do that anymore, because I don't want it to be such an intense cardio session where, I mean, that's kind of an easy one, you can adjust it, but even just with workouts.
Or look at diet, right? Like, you may think that you have to, eliminate all your favorite foods to get healthy. Well, no, just make variations of them. Make healthy, like if you like a burger and fries, I can make a very healthy burger and fry meal. Like, I can use leaner ground beef, low-fat cheese, lower carb bread, and air fried potatoes, and boom, it's a hamburger and french fries, but I'm not getting it from a fast food place. Or I can make a pizza with, with a pita bread as opposed to like the dough. So there's a lot of things you can do. So when you audit what you're doing, what's working, what's not working, that's when you start figuring out those variations, because life is truly about being able to, adapt. I believe nothing in life is constant. There's going to be constant changes. There's going to be constant adaptations you have to make. And if you want to continue to see progress, you have to look back and audit the things you've done. So hopefully, I think this was a helpful episode. Hopefully we gave you some tactical tips and things to think about. What would you say?
I mean, the last thing I would say is be strong, take heart, and you were definitely built for more.
I like it. That's a good one. Wow, that was pretty good. Where'd that come from?
It was it's actually based off of the Bible verse, Psalm 27:14. Be strong and take heart and wait on the Lord. But really, be strong, take heart, and truly you were absolutely built for more.
Yes, so we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and we're going to actually put, hopefully, in the description, there will be a link to download a PDF where you can get a more defined plan, what we just talked about, but a little bit more depth to it. So the link should be down below in the description. So if you want to get that PDF, just click on the link to download it, and we will see you on the next video.